I want to integrate 1 plus e to the x divided by 1 minus e to the x times dx. Okay, so here I don't think any of our tricks would work, you know. Trig substitution, u substitution, or integration by parts, or partial fractions, or anything else. Okay, so you might call this a trick. What I'm going to do now, you might call that a trick, but I would call that the last resort, which means that this technique, you know, it's notorious. It's not, I guess, not very intuitive. It might be to some of them, but okay, let me just do it, and I'll explain this. So clearly, I don't see anything, anyone's derivative sitting on top or something, for which I could use u substitution or something. There's no definite trig integral here, no integration by parts or something. Okay, so let me just tell you the solution here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the numerator in terms of the denominator. So this is quite tricky to see, but let me do it. So I'm going to write the numerator as 1 minus e to the x plus 2e to the x, right? I can definitely do that because minus e to the x plus 2e to the x is just positive e to the x, so I get back to the same thing. So I haven't changed the equation. Okay, and all of that is over. This is not the color. All that over 1 plus e to the x, oh sorry, 1 minus e to the x dx. And now I'm going to split it up, just like a bit like partial fractions, but not quite. So I'll write this as 1 minus, let me do this in a new color. I'm going to write this as 1 minus e to the x over 1 minus e to the x plus 2e to the x over 1 minus e to the x, right? This is just the basic of algebra. So you know, you can see that this term becomes 1 here, this term becomes 1, so I am left with the integral of 1 plus 2e to the x over 1 minus e to the x dx. So I can split the integral up, so I get this is x, the integral of 1, plus I get plus the integral of 2e to the x over 1 minus e to the x dx. Now we're not done yet, because and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on this part right here, because I'll put the x plus x later on. So let me just focus on this part here. So we want to find the integral of 2e to the x over 1 minus e to the x dx. And this is a classic u substitution problem, because in the denominator I have 1 minus e to the x, whose derivative is minus e to the x, right? So not equal to, but let me substitute u to be 1 minus e to the x. So du will be minus e to the x dx, right? So this integral, so actually if I multiply by a negative 1 on both sides, and I multiply by 2, I get negative 2 du is equal to 2e to the x dx. So this integral becomes the integral of 2e to the x dx, right, in the numerator, but that is equal to negative 2 du over 1 minus e to the x, which is u. So this becomes negative 2 times the integral of 1 over u du. This is very basic, so this is nothing but the negative 2 times the natural log of the absolute value of u, but u is 1 minus e to the x, right? Okay, so that was the blue part, but we have to substitute this pink part back in here. Okay, so let's do that. So this is our final answer. I'll bring this here. So the final answer to our problem is x, right? X plus the integral of 2e to the x over 1 minus e to the x, which is we just found it, negative 2 times the natural log. So it is negative 2 times the natural log of and I'll forget about the absolute value, natural log of 1 minus e to the x. So let us simplify this. So this becomes x plus 2 natural log of so if you remember then the properties of natural logs, then this will probably be 1 over 1 minus e to the x. Okay, so that's just the properties of logarithms, is that negative natural log of a is equal to the natural log of 1 over a. Okay, so in this case a is 1 minus e to the x. So we don't need to simplify this further, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty much it, and we are done. This is our final. Oh, and I almost forgot the plus c. There is our final answer. You could call this quite a tricky but not so tricky problem. There was no specific method. Actually, there is one more method that you substitute e to the x as u and you proceed, but I kind of find it very long, and I kind of find this thing that you write the numerator in terms of the denominator. It's very useful to know sometimes when you have problems like these. So yeah, I hope you like it, and I'll see you in the next video.